So you're planning on buying a Tesla. You've got all the logistics figured out. You've read the reviews on blogs. You've checked the forum threads, the Reddit posts. You've probably watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and you've probably configured your car on the Tesla website like 1,000 times. We've all been there. But what are some other things you should do? What are some things you should consider before you buy, before you take delivery? And what should you kind of have prepared before you get to enjoy your brand new Tesla Model 3, Model S, Model X, whatever it happens to be. And in this video, I just want to kind of walk through a couple of things you should do before you buy and take delivery of your brand new Tesla. So first things first, you obviously want to make sure you go to the Tesla website, pick out the car you want, the range, the battery capacity, the trim level. I have plenty of other videos talking about all of that. But for this video, I'm going to assume that you already have all of that figured out. The next thing I would kind of do is figure out if you want to go brand new or you want an inventory car. So there are a couple of advantages with going with an inventory car. The first and probably the most important one being that you can usually get those at a discount. Usually these have been used as a test drive car. They've been used in various other capacities. A Tesla now deems them as an inventory car that can be resold. Usually they have varying miles on them, maybe from 10 to 50 to 100 or maybe a couple hundred miles on them. The nice thing about these is usually you can get them at a discount, so you can save some money. That's probably the biggest advantage. The other one is that you can usually get these cars a little bit faster. You don't have to wait for it to be built and come off of a production line. Usually it's near you in a local area, or they're able to get it transported to you in a relatively short amount of time, maybe a week or two. This can typically be faster than going with a brand new car, having it custom built. Something to keep in mind if you want to save some money and get your car a little bit faster. The next tip I have is just to kind of keep track of where you are in terms of order to delivery of your new Tesla. I know this sounds a little obvious, but Tesla is not like most car dealerships in good ways and bad ways. And one of the experiences that I had and many others had when getting their Tesla was that Tesla isn't always the best with communication. You're supposed to get someone following up via email or a phone call, kind of letting you know next steps. This was not always the case for me. Obviously, after you do your initial order, you upload your proof of insurance, your driver's license, and all that other stuff. There are different stages that will be unlocked as you get into the process, obviously financing and trade-in and stuff like that. My tip is just to constantly check the Tesla website because typically, at least in my case, they don't notify you when things change. So for me, I had a delivery window and everything scheduled before anyone ever reached out to me. In fact, no one ever reached out to me, at least from the Costa Mesa service center. I never got an email. I just went on the Tesla website and saw that, oh, your financing was approved and everything was good to go. Oh, and by the way, you're picking up your car on Saturday. No one ever called. I never got a text. I just had to find that out for myself. So one of my recommendations for you guys would just be to stay on top of where you are in the process. You might not get an email, you might not get a phone call, but just go to that Tesla order page and kind of refresh every couple of hours or at least once a day, just to kind of see what next steps you can take, because Tesla might not let you know that those are available for you. Obviously, one of the biggest things you should probably figure out once you're going to commit to an electric vehicle is a way to charge it. I have plenty of videos I will link to up here that talk about charging, ways to charge for free, public charging, my experience with charging, but all that to say that you should really figure that out, what you're going to do. If you want to go off of a regular 120 volt outlet, you might be able to get away with that depending on how much you drive, and if you just want to kind of trickle charge, that's an option. If you live in an apartment, figure out if they have chargers or where you can publicly charge, figure out if your work has chargers, and probably the most convenient of all of these is just getting a 240 volt charging solution installed in your garage or wherever you park your Tesla. Pro tip on this, I have heard that if you tell electricians that this is for another car, not a Tesla, that typically the price to get it installed could be cheaper. I don't know if this is always the case, but I've just heard from multiple people now that, you know, there might be some kind of stigma to Tesla owners, or you guys kind of know what I mean. If you tell them it's for a different electric vehicle, you don't tell them what electric vehicle it is, it might end up being cheaper. Any electrician, of course, can do the wiring and the installation for that 240 volts, so just let them know ahead of time and make sure that is all set up and you have all the necessary cables and connectors, so when you get your new car, you don't have any issues having to charge it. Also, while you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs waiting for your new car, now is a great time to set up all of your accounts with third-party charging apps. These don't cost anything, they're free. You've got ChargePoint, you've got Volta, you've got EVgo. Now is a good time to charge, but to get the account set up so you can charge, and just take this time to get all the necessary kind of boring app stuff out of the way, get your account created, get your digital card like an Apple Pay and everything all set up in Apple Wallet ready to go, just so when you get your car, you don't have to worry about having to create that account. So that way, if you're out and about and you want to plug in and charge for a little bit while you're out on the town, you can do so without having to sit there and set up the app. Just a little thing you can do to kill some time and make sure you are good to go. Once you do have your car, you don't have to stop, and you can keep enjoying your car and not have to, set up the app. Something else to really consider is Wi-Fi. This is super important for your Model 3. It's how your car phones home. It's how it gets updates. It's really important to have a really strong wireless signal to your car. And the Model 3 is a little bit particular. You could have a really good Wi-Fi access in your garage on your phone or your tablet, but then you go in your car and you see that you don't have signal, or the signal is sporadic. And you might even notice this even with like my personal hotspot on my phone, which is just like a foot or 2 feet away from the wireless antenna in the car. It still shows it doesn't have a full signal strength, which really doesn't make sense. The reason for this is just because the antenna system isn't all that great. From what I have heard, the antenna for Wi-Fi in the Model 3 is in the driver's side mirror. So you want to make sure the Wi-Fi in your garage or wherever you park your car is going to be rock solid. I will include a few links down below to some mesh systems that work very well, some Wi-Fi extending solutions. You just want to have a really strong wireless signal for your car because, again, this is how you get all your updates. This is how your car gets all these new features. Not having a good, reliable Wi-Fi system is going to end up causing a little bit of frustration and annoyance when you are trying to get these updates. You can, of course, go and use your phone's hotspot feature, but it's not as fast. These updates can usually take a long time, and it's just easier if you have a Wi-Fi solution at home that works and is very reliable. So get that all squared away and in order for your new car. Also, you want to make sure you know where your closest local service center is. Tesla vehicles are very different in many ways, and one of the ways that Tesla operates them differently than other regular, gas-powered cars is the way they're serviced and operated. Obviously, you don't have to do a whole lot of service on those cars because there's no engine, but there are things you still will need to bring them in to get service for at a local service center. If you have any issues, any kind of body work, I think service centers can do as well. It's just good to know where your local service center is. You can look this up on the Tesla website. It's something you should just kind of know. It could also be where you're even getting your car delivered from if you're in a big area, but just make sure you kind of know where the service center is. So if you run into any issues with your car after you take delivery, which unfortunately can happen more often than you would think, just know where the service center is so you know that information and know where you'd have to go to get your car serviced and all fixed up. And then, of course, last but not least, are all of the awesome accessories you can get for your Model 3. There are some that are probably more important than others. Things like a wireless charger is like a day one must-have. A matte screen protector, for me, something anti-glare was like something I wanted day one. Floor mats if you're in a standard range or standard range plus, as well as the performance foot pedals, which probably isn't a day one thing, but I just think they look so much cooler than the stock pedals, and they're like $10, so I splurged and got them. These are things that you kind of want to consider, and something you can kind of start to stockpile if you are so inclined to do so. Lots of great Model 3 accessories. Of course, I'll link to a bunch of my favorites down below, ones I have on my car, but you can usually kind of get these things ahead of time, so once you have your car, you can install them, get everything looking exactly how you want it. Something to definitely consider, and will make your Model 3 even better than you happen to expect, because once you have all those accessories ready to go, it's just cool to spend a couple hours on a weekend getting them all installed, and you're done. You've got them all done in one shot, and you're good to go. All right, so that's it for me, guys. That's just a couple of quick tips I have for anyone looking to buy a Tesla and things you should do before you buy and take delivery. Hope this was helpful to anyone who was watching this. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. I appreciate it as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I will see you in the next one.